Hi, everybody. Welcome again to yet another inspiring interview. Today's highly sensitive entrepreneur that I have the utmost pleasure of interviewing is Karen Miller of Conscious Beauty. Hi, Karen. Welcome here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your company?
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a delight to be here and share this with you. So I'm a holistic health coach by training, and I set up my business going back 4.5 years ago now. So what I do is really help people to heal mind, body and soul using natural solutions, natural remedies. So I support people with primarily essential oils at the moment, therapeutic grade pure essential oil. I also practice aromatherapy massage, and I'll also guide and mentor people around healthy lifestyle changes with nutrition and lifestyle changes, that kind of thing.
Very inspirational. Wow. Did you always know that that was the type of company that you wanted to have?
It's really interesting. I'm in my mid-40s now. And for 20 years, I worked in social research, actually. I worked in a number of different organizations as a researcher. So I enjoyed that on one level, but I really felt there was something that I wanted to do with my life. And I had always had an interest in wellness and holistic living, but it was really just at a hobby level. But it was just one of those passions, the embers were burning. And then I just got to that turning point really when I moved to Australia. I'm originally from England, and I moved to Australia 8 years ago.
Wow.
And making that change really gave me the courage and the insight to realise that I needed to change the way that I was living and working. So that was when I thought, what do I feel really passionate about? And it came back to wellness, living a holistic lifestyle. So that was the path opened up for the whole new career.
Yeah, wow. What was your biggest reason for starting your company? Was it what you just told me or something more?
So I think what I felt was that there was a lack of alignment that was really growing over time through the way that I was working and living. I knew that I was good at what I did in the research. There was no issue with that, and I reached some success in that career as well. But I didn't align anymore with particularly the long hours that I was having to work and the amount of stress that I felt that career was placing on me. And I felt that, feeling into my sensitive nature, that it wasn't sustainable as well. Yeah. And I could just sense inside that there was a different way to do things. So I just felt that when I moved to Perth, I felt like my health was struggling. I'd had a burnout. So this was really the wake-up call to try and create a life that was, as I say, more aligned, that would enable me to live in a way that supported me much better. And, I was able to recover my health and wellness as well.
Yeah, beautiful. That's what I see a lot also in my practice. And it also happened for me, by the way. I also started my own company after having had my burnout. And at the moment, I thought my entire world was coming down and that I would never feel good or whole again. But looking back at it, I think it was probably the best thing that happened, because it really forced me to look at my life and the things I was doing and to conclude that I wasn't happy with how my life had been. And it forced me to make some really important changes, and it led to my company. And I think that's what I'm hearing you say as well.
Yeah, I really resonated with that part of your journey. It was just a turning point, a big fork in the road. And yes. I'm grateful now. It was a very difficult time, but I'm really grateful now. The phrase that kept coming into my mind, or I heard it around that time, is having a breakdown to make that big breakthrough. And I feel that that's what it was for me. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And how has your life changed now that you've become an entrepreneur when you compare it to being an employee?
Well, in many ways, because of what I do, the business that I'm in, which is doTERRA essential oils. So I have a large business with doTERRA essential oils now. And, this has created a lot for me in terms of abundance in my life, not just financially, but the friendships and the community that we have in our company is amazing. So you have your own business, but you're part of this big company. So it's been so enriching to have these beautiful relationships with the people that I collaborate with, and the business partners, and just the customers that I love to connect with and guide them on their wellness journey. So many more friendships have come from this because of the way that I do my business.
Wow.
I get so much more reward from what I do. You know, I feel every day that it can be a little bit of a cliche, but you know, you're making a difference in someone's life.
Yeah.
And when I feel that someone's feeling healthier, living a more balanced life, just feeling, you know, it could be anything from sleeping better, having less pain in their body, you know, better supported emotionally, so many things. It gives me a lot of joy and deep satisfaction to know that I've had a part in that. So I get that. And I think that's what I felt was missing in my career. You know, there was some benefits socially of the research I was doing, but I was so removed from the actual help or difference that was making. So I feel now very close to that, and that's really rewarding. That, and then just in terms of how I live day to day, so I have a lot of freedom now, so I can structure my day, you know, to how it serves and supports me and my health. And this is huge because, as I say, you know, I had to work. The job was required to work long hours, work in the evenings a lot. You know, there was a constant stress, really, a very fast pace. And not to say that my business hasn't been, fast paced at times. There's been big stages of growth. But I recognise now that there's seasons in our businesses, which is a very helpful concept for me. But day to day, I create a lot of space in my days, space just for relaxation, for more joy and play, and just the freedom, as I say, just to really live the life according to how you would like to. It's 4 years in really of doing that, and it's almost like I have to pinch myself and kind of give myself permission regularly that I can actually do this.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, that's so good to hear. And I'm guessing if I had to ask you what the top 3 benefits of being an entrepreneur are, that this would be number 1, right?
Yes. It's that freedom to create your own schedule and to run your business as you wish to, in terms of the structure of it and the schedule, but also what you choose to focus on, because my business has evolved over time. And just to be able to flow with that as well, because we are so intuitive, we can feel when there needs to be a shift. And when you've got the freedom to move with that, you're not blocked or stagnant in any way, which can be very damaging.
True. And the challenge in it, I think, is trusting what you're feeling. So trusting your instincts and going with them instead of trying to use your mind to think, is it really necessary or is it beneficial? And just to not think and just do. That's a challenge for most highly sensitive people.
Yeah, it's a constant unwinding of that, I think. You know, it's really a constant unwinding, and I'm sure there's much more that I could do to tune in and tap in even now. So, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Was there a step along your entrepreneurial journey that really gave you an aha moment?
I think that what happened was I had a couple of years in business where I was still doing my other work as well on a part-time basis or freelance basis, partly because I needed the income as I was supporting my growing business. So I think one thing that was a big turning point for me was that I started to create part of my business in the UK. So being from the UK and having a wonderful life in Australia, but all of my family are in the UK, so I was really missing them and thinking how can I see them more whilst not wanting to live there again. So I recognised that I could grow my business anywhere, and so I intentionally started to grow part of my business in the UK. So now I have a significant part of my business in the UK, and I travel back and forth about every 6 months now. Wow. And that was a real oh goodness, this is taking the freedom and the flexibility to a whole new level. So when I saw that I could do that and just grow that, with that intention behind it, was amazing. Yeah.
I can imagine, because now it allows you also to see your family and maybe even friends more often than you would have otherwise. Right?
Yeah, it's really precious. And And I have a whole new group of friends now in England that I never even knew when I lived there. So it's a really, that again, as I say, that enrichment of those relationships has been amazing.
Yeah. And then through the doTERRA community, but then in England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow. Wonderful. Really wonderful. And is there something, maybe this will already be it, but is there something that you think you would have never accomplished had you not become an entrepreneur?
Well, I think what it requires is a lot of courage. So I've had to dig deep into those reserves and resilience actually as well. So I think for me, that move from England to Australia really showed me what you can do and how you can make these changes, and you can make these bold moves and take a risk and take a gamble. So I feel that it's helped me it's confidence really, and that's something that I struggled with, as a young woman. And I think the highly sensitive side of things can be an issue there because we are different. We're in the minority, and we can be, criticised maybe, or I had a lovely upbringing and very supportive parents, but just in wider society, that confidence can be eroded, let's say. So I think that having, stepping out and showing that I can do this, and I do it in my own way, and I do it in my own quiet way as well.
Yeah, so it's finding self-confidence, right?
And I love what you're doing with this series to show the different role models of different people, and we're all highly sensitive, but still different, unique individuals, how we're all forging that path and making it happen. Yeah. We all have the high sensitive trait in common, and I think what you're just saying is we tend to be misunderstood a lot. The other people there, 20% is highly sensitive, 80% is not. And the non-highly sensitive people tend to misunderstand us a lot. And that also gives us doubts about ourselves and about our abilities, because they usually make us feel like we're strange or that there's something wrong with us because we're different. But being different doesn't mean that you're less or that there's something wrong with you. It just means you're different. You think different, you see things differently, you think about things differently, but that's not wrong and that's not bad. I actually think it's a really good thing, because we as highly sensitive people tend to be there for others. What I said before, what you are also saying, we like to help other people. As a highly sensitive person, we think in the we form. How can we all benefit? What will it do for us, instead of the other 80% who usually just think about themselves? What is in it for me? Why should I do this? So for me, being highly sensitive is actually something I would never ever trade in again. So I'm not sure, is it the same for you, or is it different? Yeah, great question. Well, I feel I resisted it for a long time. So I became aware that this was part of who I was at quite a young age, actually, because I was also an HSP, and she knew of Elaine Aron's book, The Highly Sensitive Person. So I was able to read that book and have that understanding of this part of me. But I really resisted it for a long time and didn't embrace it like I do now. So prior to moving to Australia, for example, I was living in London. It's, not that you can't be HSP and live in London, but it's a very busy, noisy, overstimulating place. And, working in a really high energy, high stress job, but just thinking that I had to keep doing that to kind of prove something. So I think that I wasn't honouring myself. Well, I wasn't honouring myself. So there's been a whole journey around really honouring that. And I think that's ongoing still now. And because of who I am, I attract partners in my doTERRA business who are very similar to me in their HSP trait. Not all of them, but many of them are. And so we've created our community that we can connect and share and just appreciate who we are, and just have people there who understand us and get us. And like you said, they don't think we're weird.
Exactly. It's good you bring this up, because that's the main reason I think that I started my community on Facebook for the highly sensitive entrepreneur. because if you connect with other highly sensitive people, you connect on the same level, and you can have deep, meaningful connections with people, and it's something that we as an HSP, we crave. And when you also become a member of a group that is that are all highly sensitive entrepreneurs, you connect on an even deeper level, because you can connect on the highly sensitive part, but you can also connect on what it is to have your business, what it is to run your business, the things that you encounter in your daily life, but also the challenges that you face when running your own business that you would never face when you're an employee. So it's really important to have that community of like-minded people surrounding you, with whom you can just talk and really connect, because that's something that we just really need.
Absolutely. And through creating my group, and some people coming into that group but not actually knowing about the concept, for them to just realize that it's a thing and go and just see themselves and understand themselves on a much deeper level. It's like the whole of their life shifts in focus, I guess. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Beautiful, right? Really beautiful. Did you, I think you already may have answered it, but did you at some point of another suffer from the I'm not good enough syndrome?
Oh, yes. Yeah, and I'll be honest, it can still come up now. So I think that looking back onto my entrepreneurial, I was established in my career of 20 years. So whilst I suppose that could still come up when you're pushing through high levels in your career, I felt pretty good in there. I knew what I was doing, I was very experienced. And I think what I struggle with, actually, moving from, say, doing that for 20 years and being at a very high level there, to then coming to being an entrepreneur, retraining, starting something completely new, I really struggle with that, because I was just suddenly back at zero. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
So I felt that. And yeah, at times I felt not necessarily that I wasn't good enough, but that I couldn't cope. In terms of what I've spoken about, and we'll probably dive into more, there's a lot of challenges that can come with creating your own business. There's just so many rewards, as I've spoken about, but it's still not the easiest path at times, although I wouldn't have it any other way. So I think more of that, can I actually cope with this? Have I got the strength? Especially because, as I said, I was recovering from a burnout. Maybe that's been a big challenge for me. How do I get the business going in the early few years, which are the harder part for getting a business going, whilst recovering from this burnout and not relapsing, which I have relapsed with my health, through those last 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really important thing, and that's mainly also the focus of my coaching business is to help the highly sensitive person to be the boss of their own energies and their own stress level, so that you can use your sensitivity to your advantage within your business and don't become a victim of the challenges and the pitfalls that it can have, like feeling drained at the end of the day. You're giving too much of yourself away, doing too much, being there too much for others and too little for yourself, basically. These are all pitfalls that you have to watch out for. So it's not only sunshine and moonlight when you start your own company. There are stressful moments, and there are times when your back's against the wall and you're scared that you might lose everything, especially in the beginning years. But those are the moments that it's so very important to have a good coping mechanism, and to have your support system, the people around you that understand and that you can talk to, and that will get you through that moment. It's very important. And I think a lot of people will recognize it in some way or another that are watching these interviews.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that especially the first couple of years, like you said, I felt vulnerable, having gone from that steady income, still feeling like my health was somewhat fragile, and didn't trust the success as well. So it's been a shift to really trust that, that you've put the energy in, and that business is really flowing now. And I think that I would say the last year, probably really working on those things there that you mentioned. I fell into all of those traps. And I'd say the last year is when I've really started to know that if it's going to be sustainable, it's got to it's got to change, and things have got to work around those areas, boundaries and energy and support, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a really, especially when you want to grow and when it's like a full-time company and not a hobby that you're doing, which makes you a lot of money. You need to learn these techniques if you want to be healthy yourself and you want to stay healthy in your company. It's a very important part.
Yeah. Yeah, so moving away from the other work and going into it full time, starting to build my business overseas. So it was all about getting really serious about it, both in terms of my commitment and also all of those systems and routines and, healthy ways of doing business.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
What part of your own company do you enjoy the most?
Mm. I really love the person-to-person connection. I mean, I love the way that I can structure my day and the things that I've spoken about, but I
Mm-hmm.
really love the person-to-person connection. So, I do body work still. I do aromatherapy massage. So, I'm in my treatment room now, and I love to be with the person and nurture them and see them transform when they leave, that they've had, a beautiful experience. I do a lot of wellness workshops, and I love to touch people that way and to have that personal connection. Obviously there's a great deal that we can do online,
Yeah.
but I still love being out in the community, sharing that message of wellness, sharing an amazing tool, which is the essentials that can bring so much balance and so much well-being. So I just get so much joy from that, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does that mean for you, that joy? What does it do?
Mm. It feels very fulfilling. I think it's just very heart opening and heart nurturing. So I
Yeah.
just feel, there's that beautiful energy exchange of what you're giving out and how people who turn up are open to receiving that, really. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what I found in the corporate world. It was a very, I did use my intuition in the social research work that I did, because I did a lot of qualitative research, so I could really tune
Yeah.
in with that. But there was a lot of head work. It was very much, you kind of your left brain type of work, and really bring into my business the heart energy, using a creative brain, and flowing
Mm-hmm.
with the feminine energy as well. So yeah,
Yeah, wonderful. I
more
recognize
balance.
it. I used to
Mm,
work in IT, so it was also
right.
not a place where you can use your intuition a lot. And so I recognize what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you maybe have a message to all the highly sensitive people that are watching this interview and that are having doubts about starting their own company?
Mm. Well, it can again be a bit of a cliche, but building on what I was saying, it's like we have such a heart knowing, we all have a heart knowing, highly sensitive or not, but I feel HSPs are can really tune in with that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So really connecting with that heart energy and that heart calling that you have, because these beautiful businesses that we birth, it's our calling, and you'll know whether that's for you, whether what you're expressing is your calling, just because of that deep, the passion, the excitement, the joy that I've spoken about. You probably won't have any other choice to follow that, as we've spoken about. You might get that time when it's just time to take that leap of faith. So just know that you will need to have courage, you will need to have support, and you can
Mm-hmm.
tap into these communities that seem to be springing up more and more, which is wonderful. But I think the consequences of not following that heart calling and shutting that energy down can be quite devastating in how we feel.
Yes,
So
I couldn't agree more.
take that message of your calling and your heart knowing seriously. I hope that resonates with somebody who might be listening.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. If you have that deep passion inside, and you know what I'm talking about, if you have that passion, if you feel like you have a purpose here and you're not fulfilling it with your current job, you know it, you feel it with every fiber of your being, then don't let
Mm,
yourself be held back by the fear of the unknown. Yes,
mm,
it's scary to come out of your comfort zone, but it also is very, very rewarding, and it far outweighs the stress moments and the scary parts, the rewarding part of having your own business, of following your dream and following your mission, your life purpose. So start, just feel it and do it.
And you can just start small, you know, it's it doesn't have to be this huge big leap, and just start in a way that, like you said, you do make a start, and then you can see how that feels. And I've always built my business step by step like that. I wasn't one who looked too far ahead, actually. I just took it in slow, manageable steps, because that felt less overwhelming to me. Whereas some people have a huge vision and they get really inspired by that, but I've always just wanted to do it in a more steady growth way, I suppose, with a few leaps along the way.
Exactly. It's the most important thing is that you do what feels good. And if you are a big dreamer and you have like a very ambitious dream and you will go for that, then that's fine. But if you're scared and it seems like a daunting task and you have no clue where to start, then it's a good thing to break it up into smaller pieces. And first, you don't have to have everything perfectly and written out into the smallest details. You can just start by thinking, what would I like to do? Would I like to help people? Okay, with what do I want to help people? How can I do this? What kind of techniques do I need? Or what type of people do I want to help? And just start with smaller questions like that to determine what it is that you eventually want to do. And the most important thing is that you start, even if it's baby steps, little steps. You're making your steps, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. I worked with a business coach in the first 6 months in business, and one of the most helpful things that she left me was with the idea of imperfect action, which was so liberating. I was like, oh, thank goodness. So that can be quite activating for people if we feel like we're procrastinating or fearful. That can be very, very helpful to help to move forward. But there'll be clues along the way as well, like you say, for what that path is. If we look at our past, like I said, my hobby, my deep interest for all of my life was around, all these natural health things. And I was like, it's there, it's just there, but we just deny it. Sometimes we suppress it.
Exactly.
But we only suppress it for so long. Well, I guess we can suppress it forever, but we're just going to feel so out of alignment.
Yes.
And I believe it can manifest in all sorts of disharmony in our body.
Yes, I agree. I see that a lot in my practice. It manifests in physical complaints, in headaches, but also in emotional complaints, a general feeling of unhappiness and unfulfilledness, and the general feeling of, is this all there is? Is this really it? And not feeling motivated anymore, not feeling energy or enthusiasm. Those are the things that I see most often in my practice when you're not living your dream, when you're not in alignment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Karen, I understood you also want to give something to the viewers of this interview. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, thank you for this opportunity to share. So as I mentioned, a large part of my business is in therapeutic grade pure essential oils. So what I would love to do, if you would love to connect with me by email, I can put you into the draw. Every month I will gift a balance oil, which is a grounding blend. I've just taken the little bottle here. So it's a blend of pure essential oils, and it's called a grounding blend. And I chose this one because I feel for the highly sensitive person, it's really important that we stay grounded.
Yes.
And this will help as well. There's lots of other things that we can do. The oils in here are primarily from trees. I feel like HSPs have a real affinity with trees as well. And it just helps us to, anything that connects us with the natural environment is very healthy for us. But there's just something about the energy of trees, as I say, that helps us feel calmer, feel more rooted. They might feel there's overwhelming things around us, but we can stay in our center. So if you would love to connect with me, as I say, by email, I can pop you in the draw for the free balance oil each month.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen, for your generous offer. So if you're watching this interview and you think, wow, I would love to participate in the draw and to win this beautiful oil that will help you ground and be centered. It's I think the most important thing for an HSP, to be really grounded and be really centered, and then you can just do about anything. So if you think I can use a little help, or I am interested in your oils, or I just want to win, then contact Karen at consciouscravings.com.au and tell her about the interview, tell her about the draw, and she will take it from there.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Karen, for your time, for this wonderful interview, and for being here and for sharing your path, your journey, and your wisdom. Thank you.
I've loved it. Thank you for what you're doing as well. I think it's such important work, so I really appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome as well. Okay, bye.
See you.